Just I told the bitch. Hold on. Yo.
What up, my nigga?
What up, nigga?
You ain't gonna believe this shit, nigga. This bitch Lizzo follows Steve on IG.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, nigga, and she be leaving emojis on his pictures and shit.
I know you fucking lying.
No cap, nigga. Pull that shit up. Pull up IG, nigga. Pull that shit up.
I can't. Steve blocked me. Clyde, let me see your shit. Let me see your shit. I need to see your phone. Pull up IG, my nigga. Yo, what? Let me see your shit. Let me see your shit. The fuck?
This nigga followers done jumped to like 117,000.
Steve got 117,000 followers? That's more than me. Overnight? What the fuck does Steve do? Other than work for me. Terribly, mind you.
Nigga, I told you, Steve be making moves in silence, my nigga. I told you that
shit. And fuck Steve. Fuck Lizzo and fuck Steve. Fuck them both. Hey, Steve. How long you been standing there? Oh, you just got here. Yeah, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about another Steve. Steve Harvey. You know I hate famous niggas. Oh, I got some good news, by the way. Me and you are going to lunch, and it's on me. Anywhere you want to go, big buddy. Just happy to have you back. All right, now you get out of here, you crazy kid. Hey, Steve, no bullshit, please, all right? No bullshit. That was a close one, Clyde. Steve? Lizzo follows Steve? Steve ass fucking. The fuck does Steve do? All right, whatever. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Put me on. UBTV 2025. And that's not 2025 from creation, all right? That's 2025 from Jesus. I know it's been a minute since I've done one of these shows, and I wish I could do more. I really do. Hopefully I will get to do more. I would like to do one of these like every week, you know, in the ideal world, right? Ideal world, I would do one of these every week. I would have an entire network, couple of sitcoms, couple of Dateline kind of shows, you know, some dramas, and some news. Some good history stuff. Be the dopest network in the history of mankind. So yeah, that would be awesome. But alas, I can only do what I can do, how I can do it for now. And so I can only do one of these episodes, you know, once every few months. I usually have to plan these according to what I'm doing in terms of the series. You know what I'm talking about. The America's Egypt, the Boule. I got some new stuff coming. Also gonna be having the publication coming. All of these things take an extraordinary amount of time to do. So be patient. If I tell you something's coming, it's coming. Might just, I'll be on that CPUB time, and that's just real talk. But I'm happy to have an opportunity to do these episodes. And I always want to show love, like gratitude and appreciation to everybody who donates. That's the only reason I can do these videos. You guys, not anybody else, not YouTube. My channel is not monetized. I'm under restriction, and all my videos have been copyright struck. It didn't matter because my shit has never been monetized. So the only way that we can even make these videos is because of you guys. So you are legitimately like producers. You feel me? You know what I mean? So I appreciate that. So like I said, I got the publication coming out. I'm also going to have the map coming out. Once again, these are projects that just take a little bit more time, especially when you're trying to do 10 things at once. So it's just, it's just hard. You know what I mean? So bear with me. I'm still a one-man operation. I would love to be able to hire a few dozen of you to work for me and put out good news and make good content, to make more content, to give our base of people something more to look forward to. You know, I want to make more shit. Trust me, I do. And who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. So be looking for the publication. We're going to start off with either The America is Egypt or The Lost at Home, and these will be themed magazines. It won't be a book, okay? It'll be more of a magazine type publication, and it will be based off the information, of course, that we go on in the series, but it'll be something tangible that you can put on your coffee table. You can pick it up. You can show people. It can be information that you're proud of that will be cited and substantiated and resourced. So you will be able to, have these discussions at home with people. Hey, you'll see the America is Egypt, or you'll see the Lost at Home publication sitting on the coffee counter at somebody's house, and you can pick it up and immediately start having a conversation about, hey, well, what if this is true? We're not writing from the perspective of fiction. This is nonfiction. This is real information. And it would be good for our people to be able to have something tangible that they can have confidence in when they're sharing the information that they learn in the videos. With all that being said, I'm looking forward to putting out more content for you. You feel me? And like I said, much love to everybody who's been showing me love. The people who've been showing me love for years now. I know who you are. So I really appreciate that. It's been about 8 months since I've made one of these videos. The last time it was white boy on the roof with chopper.
White boy on the roof with the
2,000
chopper.
secret agents won't stop you.
Just couldn't stop you.
And, that was when niggas thought that Trump fake assassinated himself. Almost assassinated himself. Trump's president now. Of course, we saw that coming. But since he's become president, the nigga is doing a lot. Now, some would say that he might be doing too much, but some would say he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. So with Trump being elected, we've all heard the race pundits. The left is beside itself. The left is so far left that niggas on the left have left the left. I mean, when you hear niggas like Bill Maher regurgitating conservative talking points and talking the same shit about the left that the right's talking about the left is done. And the problem with the left, and the thing that I hate about the left, is they use blackface. And what I mean by blackface, they use these token black DEI candidates. Not all of them are DEI, but when we're talking about token blacks who are put in positions just because they are a face for whatever agenda their handlers can prop them up for, this is what we're talking about. So what we're seeing now is we're seeing pushback, especially from quote unquote black people or black politicians and, black pastors and, other people to, a lot of this Trump shit, when low key there's been more support for Trump from black people than there has ever been since, the term before Biden, right? So black people hated Trump. Black people went from hating Trump to some black people love Trump now. Some black people really fuck with Trump. And I think it's interesting is that black people, especially the people who are opposing Trump, are still running off this this kind of like race-based agenda, when I think it's been, I can't say this for sure, but I don't think at any point that shit has been effective in the last, I don't know, however many years. And the problem with these token Negroes, and these token Negroes are put in politics. These token Negroes are funded by these corporations to be able to push certain agendas. These token politicians are being funded by people with very long pockets to act like they are a person of character and morality. Now we've got these politicians who are the blackface for the most asinine agendas. Now, I don't know how many black women are going to go in front of Congress or Senate and act like they don't know the difference between a man and a woman or a boy and a girl. But every time I see it, I swear it's another black face doing it. And it's another black woman doing it.
And how many genders are there?
I think the gender is expansive and the definitions are always growing.
Gender is expansive and the definitions are always growing. Somebody said, this is the woman we need to get our message out. Gender is expansive and the definition is always changing.
Today I can tell you, I talk to young people that talk about non-binary as
more than 5.
I think that gender is not a binary, is what I'm trying to say.
Are there more than 5 genders? I'm just trying to understand. Are there more than 5 genders?
Well, I think that there was a time where women wearing pants didn't feel like it was appropriate for their gender, and yet I'm wearing pants today.
I don't know what it is. I just can't stand this bitch face. This bitch face, it really gets on my fucking nerves. She said, I'm wearing pants today. There was a time when women couldn't wear pants, and I'm wearing pants today, but does that make you a man, woman? Or is it you're a new sex? You're a pantalone bitch. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? A woman with pants on is still a woman. Your gender doesn't change because you felt like wearing pants, bitch. And that smug fucking face. Oh my God. I gotta call my cousin to punch this bitch because I can swear I can't take it.
I think that there are ways that we express our
Are there more than
are
5
expansive.
genders? Are there more than 5?
I wouldn't subject myself to naming how many genders there are, but what I can say is
this bitch won't even lock in on a number. Are there 5 genders? Are there 10 genders? It's ever expanding and the definitions are changing. Listen, man, I can't get myself in trouble with the niggas who are paying me to be here. If I lock in at 5 genders and they're like, nigga, that's at least 72 genders. They're gonna fire me.
There an
gender is a
infinite
reflection.
number?
Excuse me?
There's an infinite number of genders?
I think depending on your culture, there are a lot of different genders that exist.
Depending on your culture, there are a lot of genders that exist. This bitch is the pure personification of DEI. This is what you niggas are fighting for. This shit. Go, sister girl. You better talk to them white men like that, girl. You better tell them we don't subject ourselves to your definitions of gender and sex. You better go, girl.
And I can also say that it's a term that's evolving. If you look at young people today, they really don't lean into the binary of only woman and man.
First of all, bitch, what young people are you talking about? Because as dumb as they are, even young niggas know what a man and a woman is.
So I think that it's incumbent upon us not to legislate on this, but create space for them to explore what their identities are, what their gender identities are.
Shut up! All right, we calm down.
We begin tonight with federal workers in the DMV bracing themselves for what may be the biggest effort yet to eliminate government jobs.
The Trump administration telling agencies to get ready for widespread cuts. Fox 5's Tom Fitzgerald live in Bristow, hearing from those who voted for the president. Fitz, what do we know right now about these new cuts on the way?
Hey, good evening. This is called a reduction in force, or RIF as it's known amongst Fed workers. This morning, the White House sending out a memo to all federal departments, all federal agencies, telling them that they have until March 13th to come up with a plan not only to get rid of current employees, but to eliminate some jobs altogether. This reduction in force would come on the heels of previous efforts in the White House to not only eliminate jobs, but lay off probationary employees and also offer voluntary buyouts. Now, keep in mind, in all, there were about 2.3 million civil federal employees in the government. That makes up about 20% of them, though, that live here in the DMV. At this cabinet meeting this morning, President Trump says his Doge team, led by Elon Musk, has uncovered what he claimed was billions of dollars in fraud. For his part, Musk at that very same meeting says they need to reduce spending in order to cut the federal deficit.
Stay away from our government jobs, right? We got benefits, we got pension. And you know what we do every day? We serve the public. And what do you fucking do, actually? Like, how many jobs are people making buku loot who don't do fucking shit, sit on their ass all day with some bullshit title, acting like they do anything. How many of those people work for the fucking government? I'm sure quite a few. Hey, what do you do? What did you do this week? How much money do you make? You make $100 and blah, blah, blah $1,000 a year. What the fuck do you do? What did you do this week? Yes, I know you've been working here not doing shit for the last 20 years, and you're hoping to squeeze another 5 years of $190,000 of not doing shit. So what shit do you do? Can you explain that? Because maybe if you do something that's valuable, worth your salary, maybe we'll keep you.
All right, so what are people saying about all of this, about the spending cuts, about the job cuts, must scroll, and the fast pace of this new Trump administration? Well, here in Bristow, Virginia, Trump voters overwhelmingly voted for the president, 39 points over Kamala Harris in 2024. Most, not everybody, told Fox 5 today that they not only like what they see right now out of the White House, but they want more of it. Some folks did express concern to us, and they said they're very worried right now about all these spending cuts eliminating programs that people here depend on.
By demanding efficiency, that means we're cleaning up all the bullshit. Clean the shit up.
On the rest.
I voted for Donald Trump, so I like him.
I feel bad that Elon Musk is in there in all our business, and I really don't think we're heading in the right direction.
If you're in the private sector, a corporation can be as inefficient as they want to be, right? But if it's taxpayer money, then yes, we should demand efficiency. And the problem is, by demanding efficiency, by demanding efficiency, these niggas are crying to the fucking high heavens. And it's always a blackface.
And I really don't think we're heading in the right direction.
This ain't gonna be no Oval Office argument, Trump. This is gonna be an argument in the streets. We're gonna take it where it needs to be.
Morgan Freebands.
White boy on a roof with the chopper. 2,000 secret agents couldn't stop ya. Got my vision from the range and it ain't blurry. 150-yard nigga Steph Curry. White boy on a roof with the chopper. 2,000 secret agents couldn't stop ya. Got my vision from the range and it ain't blurry. 150-yard nigga Steph Curry.
Free bands.
We're going to go and support those that support diversity. And you must remember these DEI programs are not only for blacks, it's for LGBTQ.
All you blackity black race hustling niggas, man, gotta stop.
Consumers.
Yeah, there's some in the black and brown community that say if you boycott stores that sell our products, that actually hurts us.
Tabitha Brown in particular said this.
But I think that is like saying in segregation time that if you fight for desegregation, I'm going to lose my job that is unfairly paid and unfairly done. We want black businesses to prosper, but we don't want them to prosper at the expense of dealing with the larger issue.
At the expense of the larger issue. The larger issue for Sharpton is DEI. It sure as hell isn't black entrepreneurship. The larger issue is DEI. We want to make sure that transgenders can work at Target. Now, your black business, we want to help y'all out. Y'all should call us, actually.
We should take those companies and support them, put them online. We'd rally for them. We'd have buyouts with them.
This nigga's talking about we gonna have buyouts with them. Nigga, you can't replace the shelves at Target through your word of mouth. Hey, nigga, Al Sharpton, hey, you know, my lotion plug is Al Sharpton.
They should be calling us rather than trying to defend people who may give them shelf space, but will not guarantee that for the community. So there's a way to make both things happen at the same time.
I consoled him. They finna buy us out. We good. I know all the niggas is boycotting Target, and I know we're a black business who sells our product in Target, but Al Sharpton told me to call him, so we good. We good now.
If Mr. Trump and his supporters can tell you you cannot make sure that you have a diversified workforce, then they can't make a law to make us shop and spend our money where we're not guaranteed that there's going to be fairness.
Yes, we're willing to sell black products, but we're just not willing to guarantee someone a job just because they're black. That's essentially what Al Sharpton wants these companies to do. Listen, guys, this is for black people, LGBT. We just need people to get hired just because they're black, not because they're qualified, just because they're black.
Bias against those communities. Now you're going to tell me when we're trying to correct the bias that you're going to penalize the companies? No, I don't think so.
We're not saying racism doesn't exist, nigga. We're saying stop fucking crying about it. Yes, it's still harder for you to make it in certain industries because you're black, but I promise you, Chinese niggas is not bitching about not having a chance to make it in the NBA.
Okay, momentum of the derivative 2x plus infinity equal to 25.7 25 cents. Oh, my homie Stoudemire. Yay!
You don't hear no Chinese niggas talking about DEI.
Triple pass white guy. African Americans around me. How many? 2. 2 plus 3 plus 7 equal altitude of trapezoid divided by equilateral triangle. It's a...
If it's a room full of fucking mathematicians and there's a fucking job that requires you to be a good mathematician and there's a fucking test, I want the nigga who made 100. I don't want the nigga who made a 72 because you need to get a nigga in the room. Give me the nigga who made 100. Yeah, yes. You know what? Matter of fact, don't even take a test. Just give me the slant-eyed nigga. I trust it.
Sequence. Assist to turnover ratio divided by 2 equals a polynomial of an African American man.
At the end of the day, people can hire who the fuck they want to hire. I mean, that's kind of how the world works. We can try to put these arbitrary laws in place, you know, that are supposed to somewhat gauge intention. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what are we talking about? We need to, listen, prove that you're not racist. You need at least, you got to hire 13 black people or you're racist.
Okay, bye, now. That's right, baby.
Yes, nigga, give me the slant-eyed nigga. Is stop Asian hate still a thing? Would that be considered? I mean, obviously that shouldn't be, that's an Asian compliment. I was just curious to stop Asian hate. Are people still following Asians around in the street, hitting them in the back of the head? I'm just curious.
There is no place for discrimination.
For inequity.
For being mean.
For intolerance.
For bigotry.
For injustice. For hate.
For hurting people based on their ethnicity.
Stop Asian hate.
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 These niggas talking about stop Asian hate. Half these niggas look Mexican. Well, I guess that makes sense, since Mexicans are Asian. All right.
Stop Asian hate.
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 I know bitches named Asia. I know bitches named China. But you know what? Ain't near one of them bitches Chinese or Asian. Maybe that's cultural appropriation. Or maybe I don't know a Chinese bitch named Africa. What was I talking about? Never mind. Coming up next, Elon got these bitches mad. And I'm here for it. Oh, I'm here for it. But can this pasty ass, spacey ass white boy really be trusted? We'll discuss coming up next. And why the fuck is Lizzo following Steve? This shit is bothering me, man. Clyde, we got to get to the bottom of this, all right? So here's what I'm going to need you to do. So me and Steve going to go to lunch, right? So I just need you to go, we're going to pull up some pictures because I heard Lizzo lost some weight. So we're going to go with the whole, you know what I'm saying? Don't even worry about it. I got it. I'm going to get to the bottom of this thing. Heil, Elon.
This parking lot has been empty for years.
Next up, we have the wonderful Representative Jasmine Crockett from Texas.
I'm gonna try my best not to preach. I just want to say thank you, because every day that we show up in DC, we show up for you. We know who we work for. We know that we work for the American people. And what we're not going to do is stand around while they pull this bullshit that they trying to pull right now.
Shit getting spicy. What we not going to do is this bullshit now. This is an elected congresswoman talking like this, y'all. She ain't about them games now. What we not going to do is this bullshit.
This is why I'm not going to be able to preach, because I probably won't be able to stop cussing. But let me tell y'all something. I know some of y'all have been frustrated, and you've been saying, where are the Democrats? Where are the leaders? Well, I'm here to tell you that we ain't never left y'all, all right? We are here. We are also going to make sure that they uphold the law. We are not going to sit around while you go ahead and desecrate our Constitution, or you look at the laws that have been passed into law and say, never mind, we'll just ignore that. Instead, we are going to be in your face, we are going to be on your asses, and we are going to make sure.
And they finna be on y'all's asses, boy. They on your asses, boy. That's a congresswoman right there. She speak for the people. We gonna be on your asses, boy, and this is what we not gonna do.
We're gonna be on your asses, and we are gonna make sure you understand what democracy looks like, and this ain't it. So let me tell you something, Mr. Trump. You gonna learn a few lessons from us. And I'm gonna be the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter, y'all about to find out.
Y'all finna find out. Y'all about to find out. We ain't playing no games over here.
All right? Now let me be clear. What Maxwell said is true. Our job is to conduct oversight. We both serve on the oversight committee. And right now, as elected leaders who tried to go in, we were told, well, hold on a second. We got to check to see if you can come in.
What? They try to check up on y'all, see if y'all could go in there? Man, that's some bullshit, boy.
Now, y'all know he likes to pal around with Putin, right? He's trying to turn us into Russia.
Yes, he is. That nigga in the back. Yes, he is. Yo, this shit is like an episode of Boondocks right now.
He's trying to turn us into Russia. But I got news for him. We, the people, will not go.
Hey, they not going, all right? The people will not go. Where are they going exactly? I don't know. But they not going.
We won't go. Listen, the final thing that I'm gonna say is there are those that have said that we may face a constitutional crisis. I want you to know that the crisis is here. I want you to know that the power belongs to the people, though, y'all. Do not feel powerless. In this moment, as the vice president said as she conceded the election.
As the vice president said as she conceded the election, I just want to remind y'all that in true cowardice fashion, Kamala Harris didn't actually concede the election on election night. Like so many other presidential losers before her, they actually went out to greet the crowd who was supporting her. But you know, all those little black girls and women who were rallying for Kamala, and they were all there at the rally waiting for her to accept her presidential announcement. When she found out she lost, she left all them bitches on red. You had all of those disheartened women with their signs and flags who didn't even deserve 5 minutes of Kamala's time on election night. When Kamala lost, she said, "Fuck you hoes." But now she wants to channel the spirit of Kamala Harris.
In this moment, as the vice president said as she conceded the election, she said, "Dark times may be ahead of us," but she said, "It's only in the darkness that we can see the stars." I am telling you right now that the stars are right here. It is time for us to shine. It is time for us to be heard. It is time for us to make sure that they know we will not go.
Now, we don't know exactly where they're not going, all right? Maybe they're not going to Russia, or who knows? We don't know exactly where they're not going, but we do know they won't go.
But we may be starting to see a little bit of a backlash to where Musk is going. And certainly we're seeing that in the polling. His numbers, he's not very popular among the broader American public, among independents, and his numbers have even dropped among Republicans.
So just the way that Elon Musk approaches this, which again is very typical, it's the kind of humor, I guess you would say, that he uses with a lot of things in his life. He posted something, it was a meme with SpongeBob, and then Donald Trump reposted it, kind of making fun of people who are upset about the fact that he is firing people and claiming that these federal workers really don't work.
Watching what you're doing with Doge is just, people love it. I mean, I've always looked at the government and... I've always looked at the government, I've seen this big machine and you just know that they waste because they don't care. There's more money coming, they don't care. Yeah. You're cutting all this out. Everybody in this country knows that the government is full of waste, fraud, and abuse. And you're doing the work, and the Americans love it. Watching their reaction politically to this, I can't believe how bad they are at responding to this. I don't know how you're gonna sit there and scream and complain because they're cutting waste out of the government and try to win another election. How do you try to win on that?
Well, at this point, I'm not sure how much of the left is even real. Yeah.
The acronym stands for Department of Government Efficiency. We're just going to read straight from the horse's mouth, CBSnews.com. What is Doge? Here's what to know about Elon Musk's latest cost-cutting efforts. By Amy Peachy. Money Watch. Quote, the White House's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, was created by Trump on January 20th with a mission to slash federal spending. Since then, the task force led by billionaire Elon Musk has saved more than $1 billion by canceling diversity, equity, and inclusion contracts, among other expenses, according to Doge's social media account. So we can see exactly why niggas are mad at Musk. But since kicking into gear on January 20th, Doge has also prompted several lawsuits and raised alarms from Democratic lawmakers and consumer advocates after it gained access to the Treasury Department's payment system, which stores personal data for most Americans. Supporters of Doge see its efforts as a way to rein in bloated federal spending at a time when the nation's outlays are outpacing its tax revenue, causing the federal debt to spiral to an all-time high of $36 trillion. Mr. Trump has said he wants to cut programs that don't align with his policies and to slash the federal workforce. While standing next to President Trump in the Oval Office on February 11th, Musk defended Doge's efforts to slash spending and dismiss workers across the federal government, insisting that Americans voted for major change and the Trump administration is delivering. Musk, the world's wealthiest person, added that it is essential that federal government par spending. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. Musk said at the Oval Office, they are going to get what they voted for. Musk also added that some of the things that I say will be incorrect, referencing a false claim that the US was planning to send tens of millions of dollars worth of condoms to Gaza. So they busted Musk on this false claim that they were sending tens of millions of dollars of condoms to Gaza. Basically, they're like, oh shit, you know, Elon's putting out that false information. It actually turns out that they're sending tens of millions of dollars of condoms to Gaza, Mozambique. So because of this, they hammered them for that shit. But the question would be, why are they sending tens of millions of dollars of condoms to Mozambique? They say they're doing it to control the spread of AIDS. No, nigga, it's not Gaza. Gaza, Africa, nigga. What you talking about? See, I told you, this nigga Elon must be lying. We are moving fast, so we will make mistakes, but we will fix the mistakes very quickly, Musk said. Critics of the task force say that Musk, who runs companies including SpaceX that receive billions in government contracts, could be engaged in work through Doge that may pose conflicts of interest with his private businesses, such as potentially gaining access to data about competitors' federal contracts. A February 3rd lawsuit filed by 2 unions and an advocacy group for older Americans alleges that the Treasury Department has unlawfully provided Musk and Doge with the private personal data of most U.S. taxpayers. At the heart of this conflict, what we can see is that the problem lies in the fact that the people don't trust Elon Musk. What is he going to do with our personal information? Asked about his potential conflicts of interest during his White House appearance, Musk said the public can question whether he's benefiting from Doge's actions. You can see whether I'm doing something that's benefiting one of my companies or not, Musk said. It's totally obvious. You can see if I'm up to some fuckery or not. It's totally obvious. Now, on the surface, that seems transparent. Or, in a more sinister fashion, he could be on some boss shit like, nigga, not only am I going to start stealing y'all's personal information and giving my personal companies all government contracts, y'all can see that shit, and I'm going to do it anyway. And y'all ain't going to do shit about it. That's what they think he's saying. Continuing, is Elon Musk a government employee? Musk is classified as a special government employee, Levitt said on February 3rd. A special government employee, or SGE, is someone who works or is expected to work for the government for 130 days or less within a 365-day period, according to the Department of Justice. The role, created in 1962 as a way to enable the government to tap outside expertise, can either be paid or unpaid. Because Musk, who is ranked as the world's wealthiest person with a fortune Bloomberg estimates to be more than $400 billion, is not paid for his work as an SGE. He doesn't need to file a public financial disclosure report. What has Doge done so far? According to social media posts from Doge and Musk, the task force is seeking to identify federal contracts and spending issues that don't align with Mr. Trump's policies, including DEI and foreign aid. Doge has now saved the taxpayers over $1 billion in crazy DEI contracts, Musk wrote on January 30th. However, some of Doge's claims have been proven to be overstated. Musk wrote in a November opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal that he and his then Doge co-partner Vivek Ramaswamy aim to cut $500 billion in annual federal spending that would represent about 7% of the federal government's $6.7 trillion in annual expenditures. Experts warn that deep spending cuts could prove problematic, given that about 2/3 of the government spending is directed towards Social Security, Medicare, National Defense, and Medicaid. While on the campaign trail before the 2024 election, Mr. Trump vowed to protect Social Security and Medicare, which provide retirement and health benefits for millions of senior citizens. What is Doge doing at the Treasury? Doge recently sparked an outcry from some taxpayers, Democratic lawmakers, and government watchdogs after it gained access to the Treasury Department's payment system, which is handled by a little-known unit called the Bureau of the Fiscal Service. The Bureau of the Fiscal Service disperses trillions in payments each year, including Social Security checks, tax refunds, and federal salaries. In pointing to some ways it is saving taxpayer money, Doge has said in social media posts that it has nixed DEI contracts at the Treasury, as well as canceled the agency's subscriptions to the New York Times. Doge's access to sensitive financial data has raised concerns about the potential for errors, with Senator Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat from Massachusetts, writing in a February 2nd letter to the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent that providing Doge with access to the systems is risking missteps that could result in a global financial meltdown that costs trillions of dollars and millions of jobs. Others have flagged data security risks tied to Doge's access to taxpayers' personal information, such as bank account data and social security numbers. We don't want Elon Musk to see our numbers. And Trump said, no, this nigga Elon is gonna see these numbers. And he's gonna get these bullshit jobs out of here. Quote, the scale of intrusion into individuals' privacy is massive and unprecedented, the February 3rd lawsuit from unions claimed. Secretary Bessent's action granting Doge-affiliated individuals full, continuous, and ongoing access to that information for an unspecified period of time means that retirees, taxpayers, federal employees, companies, and other individuals from all walks of life have no assurance that their information will receive the protection that federal law affords. What is Doge doing with Social Security? Doge said on February 5th on a post on social media that the Social Security Administration had terminated its contract for the Gender X initiative marker and removed all references to gender ideology from public-facing applications. The task force said the effort would save about $1 million. So they removed all of the Gender X initiative markers on references to gender ideology from public-facing applications. You know the Democrats don't like that shit. A potentially larger issue is Doge's access to the Treasury Department's payment system because it processes the Social Security payments for more than 70 million people and contains the Social Security numbers of most Americans. Musk and his team now have access to the personal information of every Social Security beneficiary and the ability to stop payments for any federal programs they dislike. The Treasury says Doge has been given read-only access to its payment system. A federal judge on February 7th was also scheduled to consider whether to block Doge from accessing computer systems at the Labor Department. A group of labor unions has filed suit to deny Doge employees entry to those systems, which the plaintiffs allege contain sensitive information about federal employees, including which workers has investigated Musk companies. The Labor Department also has confidential information about the companies that compete with Musk's enterprises, including SpaceX and Tesla, the suit claims. The Justice Department said there's no proof of wrongdoing, that the judge shouldn't issue sweeping order based off plaintiffs' rank speculation that the Department of Labor will violate the law, end quote. So they're creating a scenario where Musk has been given all of this access to everyone's Social Security number, and Musk is going to use your Social Security number to defraud you. And he's going to use this information to enrich himself even further. The pushback from the left is that if we do this, if we give Elon Musk this much power within the government, the whole government's going to collapse. We're going to go into a financial crisis. Well, what about the shit he's cutting out? People are going to die. Little children aren't going to get their medication, and seniors are going to die. What is Doge doing with U.S. aid? Mr. Trump and Musk have also taken aim at the Agency for International Development, or USAID, upending an organization that provides humanitarian aid to more than 100 countries. Both men contend that much of the 60-year-old agency's spending is wasteful. Supporters of the agency say U.S. aid is essential for national security, countering influence from U.S. rivals, while also providing critical humanitarian assistance across the globe. End quote. CBS News. Let's find out what USAID is actually spending taxpayer money on.
But this is the kind of stuff Mr. Musk found. He found that the USAID gave money to support electric vehicles in Vietnam. Our money, taxpayer money. He found that USAID gave money to a transgender clinic in India.
The bitches in India ain't that ugly.
I didn't know that. I bet you the American people didn't know that. He found that the USAID gave $1.5 million to a Serbian LGBTQ group called Grupa Izladaji. I probably mispronounced that, my apologies. Anyway, they got $1.5 million to, quote, advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities.
I bet you Serbia is really not that diverse. So they just, they try to diversify Serbia. Get a couple of Filipino transgenders out there, maybe a Puerto Rican, spice it up. Maybe even a black transgender. Now imagine seeing these niggas in Serbia. They're just trying to spice it up. Maybe there's too many straight people in Serbia.
According to this report in Mr. Musk, the USAID has given millions of dollars to, quote, organizations in Gaza controlled by Hamas.
These liberals were funding Hamas for propaganda purposes. They needed to fund destabilization. Hey, we're going to give you this money and we need you to go do some crazy shit so we can justify dropping bombs on niggas. War games. Yes, the US government funds terrorism. They fund it through these organizations like USAID and other NGOs. It's called a non-governmental organization, but if you just follow the money's still coming from the government. And they use organizations like the USAID to fund terrorism on the other side of the world so they can push these agendas to your brain.
Why aren't my colleagues talking about that? Recipients of the money they found have, quote, called for their lands to be cleansed from the impurity of Jews. That's what we're giving foreign aid to. What else? I'm not going to spend my whole time talking about this, but nobody else is talking about it. They're just talking about the process and Mr. Musk, and he's a mean guy, and he shouldn't be looking at our spending. Well, he is. And I kind of find what he's found out interesting. He found that we gave $2 million, USAID did, for sex changes in Guatemala.
Come on, man. The bitches in Guatemala ain't that ugly. Sex changes in Guatemala is supreme nasty work.
He found that we gave $20 million to produce a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. He found that we gave $4.5 million of taxpayer money to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. He found that we gave $10 million, USAID did, of meals to an Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group called the Nusra Front. Mr. Musk found that we gave $7.9 million of taxpayer money to a project that would teach Sri Lanka, a bunch of journalists in Sri Lanka, to teach them how to avoid binary gendered language. I don't know what the hell binary gendered language is. I think I do. You think most taxpayers would support that? Why aren't we talking about that? The USAID gave $1.5 million to promote LGBT advocacy in Jamaica. They gave $1.5 million to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem. They gave $1.5 million for, quote, art for inclusion of people with disabilities in Belarus. Another $3.9 million for LGBT causes in Macedonia. $8.3 million for equity and inclusion education in Nepal. I could go all night. And many of my colleagues are upset. They're really mad at Mr. Musk. Hell, I think we ought to give him a medal.
Heil, Elon.
New at 11, some Tesla owners are receiving threats to sell their vehicles by tomorrow or else they'll be vandalized. Police in the Humboldt County city of Arcata say several people found the threatening notes on their cars, including at least one that came with a brick. The group behind the threats calls itself Students Against Nazi Extremism.
See, this that stupid shit I'm talking about. How the fuck you gonna be named Students Against Nazi Extremism, but you running around here acting like an extremist, threatening niggas who own Teslas? You better sell your car or else. Or else what, nigga? What school do these Students Against Nazi Extremists go to? Because they failed them. They failed.
The group behind the threats calls itself Students Against Nazi Extremism and mailed a manifesto to the Lost Coast Outpost. It claimed responsibility for the brick as well as threatening Tesla owners in Roanoke Park, Hayward, and Seaside in Monterey County. The Lost Coast Outpost didn't release the manifesto, but summed up the group's goal.
So this is obviously a vendetta against Musk, and their goal, they say, is to create a big stigma around owning a Tesla. So they want the value of Tesla vehicles to plummet.
Efficiency is stoking anti-Tesla sentiment locally, resulting in crimes. People have been defacing superchargers with Nazi symbols, vandalizing service centers, and now authorities are reporting a Tesla in Seattle may have been torched on purpose.
Fox 13's Lauren Donovan is over at University Village. So Lauren, there was a recent protest outside of the Tesla store there.
We've seen it here and at the South Lake Union store as well. Clear retaliation against Elon Musk and Cybertruck Tesla owners. They tell me they're seeing it on the road too. They're getting flipped off, some even screamed at. But have tensions gotten so hot that we're at the point where people are actually lighting the cars on fire? Tesla burns to a crisp. That's the caption on this now viral video of a charred Model 3. Poster Seattle Submissions writing it was spotted in Northgate. So I turned to Seattle Fire for answers. SFD reports the Tesla caught fire just before 4:30 in the morning this past Saturday, telling me investigators determined the fire was intentionally set.
I am surprised it's getting as hot as it is. I didn't think it would turn to violence, and I didn't think vandalism.
These niggas is so mad at Elon, they out here committing Tesla hate crimes. These niggas is mad at the vehicle. How retarded is that shit? These niggas is vandalizing, breaking windows, setting them on fire because they mad at Elon over this Trump shit. And then these are the same niggas who got the nerve to call somebody else an extremist. You can't make this shit up. It was just a few years ago. I remember everybody and their mama wanted a Tesla. I mean, the same exact identical car because they all look the same. They only make 3 models and 3 colors, but everybody wanted the same exact identical car with minimalist features. They thought they were so cool. It was like owning a Tesla was your personal admission ticket into the cult of the woke. Because, I mean, let's keep it real. At least 80 to 90% of Tesla owners are liberals. And now the cult of the woke got their panties all in a bunch over this Elon Trump shit. Which I personally find quite heartwarming. Because very rarely in life do we get to witness karma come back around so appropriately. Almost serendipitous. Let's appreciate that. Let's appreciate that.
Elon Musk is today's big pariah.
And he predicts all that alienation will hurt Elon's pockets, recalling a recent conversation with a Tesla spokesperson who told him,
This is the best time to get a Tesla because nobody's buying them. Everybody's upset and Tesla's desperate to make sales.
Listen, man, I completely understand why niggas is mad at Elon, but they mad at Elon for the wrong shit. They're being manipulated by the media. People really didn't get mad at Elon until he bought Twitter. And he bought it under the guise of extending free speech during the COVID misinformation era. This put him directly in the crosshairs of the mainstream media. And then he aligns himself with Trump, basically grafting all of the hate that people had for Trump onto himself. So people who may have felt indifferent about Musk or maybe even had a somewhat positive opinion about Musk now hate him. And all of this is really an interesting social experiment. So Tesla owners are mad at Musk because they felt like his product, his car, represented their political stance. It's kind of like if I'm on the highway and I see a lifted F-250 or 2500, I can pretty much assume they voted for Trump. But if I see a Tesla on the highway, I can assume they went with the rainbow. Imagine how many Gypsy Dust Mafia members who drive Teslas nearly gag themselves to death with dirty dildos after Elon burned the federal rainbow papers. Elon's a transphobe and he's with Trump. What do you mean there's no gender X? You literally have a Tesla Model X that you specifically made for transgenders. We all assume. So yeah, the rainbow Tesla drivers are all up in arms. They feel betrayed. It's kind of like if you found out your gay husband was fucking women behind your back. You would be mad too. And these Tesla owners aren't mad for any principled reason, but they have to stand on principle. That's why they're really mad. Now they have to trade their Tesla in for one of them little Chevy bullshits. And electric cars suck. But they had the best one. And now you got to get rid of it to stand on business. That's why you're really mad.
I bought this before Elon went crazy.
Bob Porter loves his Tesla, but recently added a new accessory, a sticker clarifying his stance.
Emotions are running high, so of course people are looking at Tesla owners like we are all part of his club, and it's not true.
The club he's talking about is that of Elon Musk. The world's richest man owes much of his wealth to founding Tesla and SpaceX, but he's been in the news a lot lately for his prominent role in U.S. President Donald Trump's new administration, a role Musk started by making a hand gesture at Trump's inauguration, many said appeared to be a Nazi salute. Crowds of people opposed to Musk's politics protested outside Tesla dealerships across the U.S. over the weekend. There's also been vandalism, like outside this store in Vancouver, something police are investigating. Some Tesla owners, like singer Sheryl Crow, are waving goodbye to their cars entirely. There comes a time when you have to decide who you are willing to align with. So long, Tesla.
I am more clever than I ever wanted to be. This should be illegal to be so cunning, you know? And I'm just glad you're here to witness it, Clyde, because no one would believe me. But yeah, we're about to get to the bottom of this. Welcome back to UBTV. Here with the Hollywood Word. It's Lizzo, losing weight and looking great. Oh man, Lizzo looks fantastic. And she credits her new look to a new lifestyle and new friends. And she had a message for all of her new friends, and she took to social media. She shared her vulnerability with the world, saying she's had issues with food, anxiety, and trust, and that those issues are very deep. However, according to the rumor mill, friends closest to Lizzo say that she's looking for a man to complement her deep trust issues by getting deep in her nappy dugout. We'll see how that story develops. In completely unrelated medical news, women who use Ozempic are at risk of spreading disease to their partners. In a study conducted by the Bokeem Woodbine Center for Thought Inquisitions, 52% of men who have had sexual partners with women who use Ozempic suffered mild to moderate forms of dixema, acute forms of shaft ash, and mild forms of scrotal shrivelage. A whopping 87% of women have developed stage 2 Wegovy guts. And according to the top vagologist, once past stage 2, Wegovy guts is irreversible, and your guts are destroyed forever. But there is treatment. Call the toll-free number 1-800-WeGovy-GUTS or simply go online to SaveMyGuts.com. And in completely unrelated Hollywood news, Lizzo has denied using Ozempic during her weight loss journey. She also is adamant that she has not spread dixema to any of her sexual partners. We reached out to a few hundred of Lizzo's past sexual partners, and Steve could not be reached for comment. Shit. I knew it! I knew it, Clyde! Clyde, I knew it! Steve fucking Lizzo. I fucking knew it. Good for you, Steve. Good for you. Man, good for Steve. Getting them Wegovy guts. Hey man, get checked out, bro. Get checked out, all right? Get checked out, all right? Well, even if she's denied it, man, just get checked out, all right? Coming up next, Zelensky shows up to the White House and shit gets popping. And I'm here for it. Coming up next. Way to go, Steve. Steve fucking Lizzo. Woo! Steve fucking Lizzo! Yes! Yes, nigga! Yes! Getting up in them guts. Steve was getting up in them guts.
Bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
First of all, we've given over $300 billion to Ukraine. So Trump's talking about a ceasefire. But this old nigga Zelensky don't want to hear that. He wants to keep the war going. He wants to use the United States as a blank check in order to collect as much military resources to try to defeat Russia, a thing they will never do. So Trump's like, hey man, I'm gonna negotiate a ceasefire so Putin stops fucking with y'all. This nigga Zelensky's like, nah man, we trying to win the war. So we gonna need y'all to put up like another $5 trillion.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can...
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait
answer?
a minute. No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been alone.
In this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have our...
And I promise you this nigga Trump would never talk to Vladimir Putin the way he's talking to Zelensky. Zelensky's up here getting bitched. But he's right, Ukraine has no cards. Trump can talk as reckless as he wants to Zelensky. They're in the middle of a war and they have a weak military. He ain't worried about Zelensky. I promise you, he would not talk to Vladimir Putin like that.
Military equipment.
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks. Of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Zelensky's probably getting a lot of pats on the back from his Ukrainian brethren because he's talking kind of greasy to Trump. He a wild card. This nigga JD Vance jump in, he like, nah, you ain't finna disrespect the Oval Office like this.
Tell you, just say thank you.
I said a lot of
accept
times
that there,
thank you
accept
to
that,
American people.
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire?
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you what,
that wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
So they had this deal all set up where the U.S. was going to get paid back in Ukrainian minerals for aiding them in the war, but they called the entire deal off and they kicked Zelensky's ass out of the White House. And so what did Zelensky do? Zelensky ran his little bitch ass over to the UK and signed a deal with them. Now the difference between the UK deal and the US deal is the fact that the UK is pretending to be some ally of Ukraine by signing a $2.8 billion deal. $2.8 billion is a lot of money, but that's not even 1% of the money that the US has already given to Ukraine. The US has given Ukraine over $300 billion. So this little bullshit $2.8 billion deal that he went to go run and get from the UK is peanuts in comparison.
This morning, what could be a game changer for people living with severe physical disabilities. Elon Musk revealing a second patient has been implanted with Neuralink, an experimental brain-computer interface that allows patients to control technology with their mind. Musk is a co-founder of the startup.
I don't want to jinx it, but it seems to have gone extremely well with the second implant. So there's a lot of signal, a lot of electrodes. It's working very well.
Not much is known about the second patient, including when they received the implant, but we do know they suffered a spinal cord injury, just like Nolan Arbaugh.
This is all from there to there. Yeah, man.
Arbaugh was the first Neuralink patient. He opened up to Good Morning America back in May.
I was just very happy that I would be a part of something that I believe is so monumental and this next step forward of helping people with paralysis.
Musk says he believes Neuralink will allow all humans, whether they have physical disabilities or not, to more efficiently interface with the digital world and even compete with artificial intelligence.
Heil, Elon.
Now, this is the real reason we should be worried about Elon Musk. Neuralink. Charlatans Web quote, Neuralink Corp is an American neurotechnology company that has developed, as of 2024, implantable brain-computer interfaces, BCIs. It was founded by Elon Musk and a team of 8 scientists and engineers. Neuralink was launched in 2016 and first publicly reported in March 2017. In January 2017, Musk proxies approached Pedram Mohseni and Randolph Nudo, who owned the rights to the name Neuralink. These two neuroscientists strove to create an electronic brain chip to treat traumatic brain injury. They made significant progress and completed preliminary testing, but did not receive enough funding or support from investors to continue. The pair of longtime neurotech researchers had developed a device that might help people with brain injuries. So I just want to stop here to let you know that apparently this was for brain injuries. But in a later interview, Elon Musk will actually reveal the more sinister purpose behind this Neuralink technology. Continuing, but their initial contacts with investors hadn't advanced very far when a stranger approached them offering tens of thousands of dollars for their company's name. They accepted it. No one mentioned that Musk was behind it. The company is based in Fremont, California, with plans to build a 3-story building with office and manufacturing space near Austin, Texas, in Del Valle, about 10 miles east of Gigafactory, Texas, Tesla's headquarters and manufacturing plant that opened in 2022. Since its foundings, the company has hired several high-profile neuroscientists from various universities. By 2019, it had received $158 million in funding, of which $100 million was from Musk, and had 90 employees. At the time, Neuralink announced that it was working on a sewing machine-like device capable of implanting very thin threads into the brain, and demonstrated a system that reads information from a lab rat via 1,500 electrodes. It anticipated starting experiments with humans in 2020, but since moved that projection to 2023. As of May 2023, it has been approved for human trials in the United States. On January 29, 2024, Musk announced that Neuralink has successfully implanted a Neuralink device in a human, and the patient was recovering. The company has faced criticism for a large amount of euthanization of primates that underwent medical trials. Veterinary records of the monkey showed a number of complications, with electrodes being surgically implanted. Imagine that. Imagine there being any complications with inserting a chip into your brain. In September 2024, the company announced that its latest development effort, BlindSight, will allow those who would otherwise be blind to regain some level of vision, provided the visual cortex is undamaged. The development received breakthrough status from the federal government, which will accelerate development. Received breakthrough status from the federal government. Presumably, since this happened in September 2024, he received this breakthrough status from the federal government under a Biden administration. So yes, we see Doge on the surface, but behind the surface, he's trying to give blind niggas sight. But is that really what he's trying to do with this Neuralink device? And what about the euthanization of all these primates? What about that?
This is Pager. He's a 9-year-old macaque who had a Neuralink placed in each side of his brain about 6 weeks ago. If you look carefully, you can see that the fur on his head hasn't quite fully grown back yet. He's learned to interact with a computer for a tasty banana smoothie delivered through a straw. We can interact with the Neuralinks simply by pairing them to an iPhone, just as you might pair your phone to a Bluetooth speaker. The links record from more than 2,000 electrodes implanted in the regions of Pager's motor cortex that coordinate hand and arm movements. Neurons in this region modulate their activity with intended hand movement. For example, some might become more active when he moves his hand up, and others when he moves it to the right. By recording from many neurons and feeding their activity into a decoder algorithm, we are able to predict Pager's intended hand movements in real time. First, we calibrate the decoder by recording neural activity as Pager uses the joystick to move a cursor to targets presented on the screen. As he's playing this game, we are wirelessly streaming, in real time, the firing rates from thousands of neurons to a computer. Using these data, we calibrate the decoder by mathematically modeling the relationship between patterns of neural activity and the different joystick movements they produce. After only a few minutes of calibration, we can use the output from the decoder to move the cursor instead of the joystick. Pager still moves the joystick out of habit, but as you can see, it's unplugged. He's controlling the cursor entirely with decoded neural activity.
Quote, Wired. The gruesome story of how Neuralink's monkeys actually died. Elon Musk says no primates died as a result of Neuralink implants. A Wired investigation now reveals the grisly specifics of their deaths as U.S. authorities have been asked to investigate Musk's claims. Quote, fresh allegations of potential securities frauds have been leveled at Elon Musk over statements he recently made regarding the deaths of primates used for research at Neuralink, his biotech startup. Letters sent this afternoon to top officials at the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission by a medical ethics group call on the agency to investigate Musk's claims that the monkeys who died during trials at the company were terminally ill and did not die as a result of Neuralink implants. They claim, based on veterinary records, that complications with the implant procedures led to their deaths. Now, those monkeys were old. They were about to die, okay? The implant didn't kill them. The monkeys they had AIDS, okay? These were AIDS monkeys. So we're good. Musk first acknowledged the death on September 10th in a reply to a user on his social networking app X, formerly Twitter. He denied that any of the deaths were a result of a Neuralink implant and said the researchers had taken care to select subjects who were already close to death. Relatedly, in a presentation last fall, Musk claimed Neuralink's animal testing was never exploratory, but was instead conducted to confirm fully formed scientific hypotheses. We are extremely careful, he said. Public records reviewed by Wired and interviews conducted with a former Neuralink employee and a current researcher at the University of California Davis Primate Center paint a wholly different picture of Neuralink's animal research. The documents include veterinary records first made public last year that contain gruesome portrayals of suffering reportedly endured by as many as a dozen of Neuralink's primate subjects, all of whom needed to be euthanized. These records could serve as the basis for any potential SEC probe into Musk's comments about Neuralink, which has faced multiple federal investigations as the company moves toward its goal of releasing the first commercially available brain-computer interface for humans. brain-computer interface for humans. So we're way past just helping people with brain trauma. Now it's a brain-computer interface. Niggas is over here mad at transgender. This nigga's trying to slide in transhumans. What do you call a nigga with a computer chip in his brain? Is he a human anymore? Who's controlling that nigga's actions? The letters to the SEC came from Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, a nonprofit striving to abolish live animal testing. The group claims that Musk's comments about the primate deaths are misleading and that he knew them to be false, and that investors deserve to hear the truth about the safety and thus the marketability of Neuralink's speculative product. You gotta let niggas know that you frying monkey brains for science. They are claiming that they're going to put a safe device on the market, and that's why you should invest. Ryan Merkley, who leads the Physicians Committee research into animal testing alternatives, tells Wired. And we see this lie as a way to whitewash what happened in these exploratory studies. Jumping ahead, UC Davis veterinary records cited by the Physicians Committee, which Wired also obtained through a subsequent California public records request, chronicle a battery of complications that developed following procedures involving electrodes being surgically implanted into monkeys' brains. The complications include bloody diarrhea, partial paralysis, and cerebral edema, a condition colloquially known as brain swelling. For example, in an experimental surgery that took place in December 2019 performed to determine the survivability of an implant, an internal part of the device broke off while being implanted. Overnight, researchers observed the monkey, identified only as Animal 20 by UC Davis, scratching at the surgical site, which emitted a bloody discharge, and yanking on a connector that eventually dislodged part of the device. Damn. A surgery to repair the issue was carried out the following day, yet fungal and bacterial infections took root. Vet records note that neither infection was likely to be cleared, in part because the implant was covering the infected area. The monkey was euthanized on January 6, 2020. So this was in December 2019, and by January 6th, the monkey was euthanized. So this whole process from surgery to death took approximately a month. Or less, actually, because it doesn't say the exact date in December 2019. Additional veterinary records show the condition of a female monkey called Animal 15 during the months leading up to her death in March 2019. Days after her implant surgery, she began to press her head against the floor for no apparent reason, a symptom of pain or infection. The records say staff observed that though she was uncomfortable picking and pulling at her implant until bed, she would often lie at the foot of her cage and spend time holding hands with her roommate. You know, these animals have real hearts and spirits and emotions. Monkey was stressed out, she was holding hands with her roommate. Because animals feel things too. Animal 15 began to lose coordination, and staff observed that she would shake uncontrollably when she saw lab workers. Of course she did. She was stressed out. She was being tortured. Her condition deteriorated for months until the staff finally euthanized her. A necropsy report indicates that she had bleeding in her brain and that the Neuralink implants left parts of her cerebral cortex focally tattered. You want to talk about some evil shit? That's some evil shit. In the quest to play God, what will you not do? To what end, I ask? Reading this stuff actually makes me kind of sad. And I'm not a animal activist or anything like that, but kind of breaks my heart reading this stuff. Take a moment of silence for the monkeys. Yet another monkey, Animal 22, was euthanized in March 2020 after his cranial implant became loose. A necropsy report revealed that two of the screws securing the implant to the skull loosened to the extent that they could be easily lifted out. The necropsy for Animal 22 clearly states that the failure of this implant can be considered purely mechanical and not exacerbated by infection. If true, this would appear to directly contradict Musk's statements that no monkeys died as a result of Neuralink chips. Shown a copy of Musk's remarks on X about Neuralink's animal subjects being close to death already, a former Neuralink employee alleges to Wired that the claim is ridiculous, if not a straight fabrication. We had these monkeys for a year or so before any surgery was performed, they say. The ex-employee, who requested anonymity for fear of retaliation, says that up to a year's worth of behavioral training was necessary for the program, a time frame that would exempt subjects already close to death. A doctoral candidate currently conducting research at the CNPRC granted anonymity due to a fear of professional retaliation, likewise questions Musk's claims regarding the baseline health of Neuralink monkeys. These are pretty young monkeys, they tell Wired. It's hard to imagine these monkeys, who are not adults, were terminal for some reason. We have no comment to make regarding Elon Musk's statements, Andy Fell, a spokesperson for the Davis campus, tells Wired. So this is the real bullshit. It's not just that he's torturing monkeys, it is the reason that he's torturing these monkeys. They say it's just to help people with traumatic brain injuries. Do the ends justify the means? This blind sight program accelerated through the federal government to provide eyesight to blind people. What has this technology done thus far? A paraplegic can move a cursor on a computer screen with his brain. One small step for trans man. A paraplegic can move a cursor on a screen with his brain. What next? How many monkeys died for that man to move that cursor? Do the ends justify the means? But if you ask Elon, they're old monkeys that were about to die. Those monkeys were going to die anyway.
Heil, Elon.
What happens if someone ultimately does get a Neuralink installed? What will take place?
So you basically take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there that has a battery and a Bluetooth and an inductive charger. Insert the electrodes. So the electrodes are very carefully inserted, avoiding, any veins or arteries. You stitch up the hole and you just have a little scar, and that's it. And you wouldn't even know that somebody has it. It could, in principle, fix almost anything that is wrong with the brain. You could also save state. And
save state?
Save state, like save your brain state, like a saved game in a video game.
You could also save state. And save state? Save state, like save your brain state, like a saved game in a video game.
You see, that's that evil villain shit I'm talking about. The Neuralink chip can be used to save state. What does he mean when he says save state? Like a video game. So basically, you could chip someone's mind and presumably put that chip and their mind into another being. Through putting computer chips in people's brains and saving state, and then using that saved state and uploading and entering a brain into another vessel or body or biological being. There are so many levels of weird fuckery that are at play here. He could take a brain out of a human that's microchipped and put it into an animal. So not only would you have a transhuman, you would have a trans dog, a trans canine, and not like a transgender canine, like a trans canine. He could put this brain chip into another being and never die. He's trying to circumvent death. Elon's got this cool thing that Whenever you get close to death, he can upload your brain onto the cloud, and then we can put that microchip in your brain into another vessel. There are some very scary implications with this technology. In many ways, this is the pure definition of playing God. There are so many ethical questions, one doesn't know where to begin. Because we're not just talking about torturing monkeys for science. We're talking about the purpose of that science. It's not just that they're torturing monkeys, but why are they torturing monkeys? And on the surface, it's about helping humans with traumatic brain injuries and paraplegics. But at the root, it's about immortality and playing God. This is that sci-fi movie shit I'm talking about. It's deeper than just cloning. This nigga's talking about uploading your conscious into another being, essentially. This is that secret fuckery that you gotta watch out for. Because all of this bullshit on the surface means very little in comparison to all the fuckery that's going on behind the scenes. Once this person with a computer chip in their brain gets their brain taken out of their original body and entered into the next vessel, is that person really the same person?
Now, you'd be a little different, but then you're also a little different when you wake up in the morning from yesterday.
But you'd be a little different, but then you're also a little different when you wake up in the morning from yesterday.
Are you the same person? What if the chip gets hacked? It's all based off Bluetooth and electronics. At what point does the chip control you? This type of research and technology leaves everybody on Earth vulnerable to all types of unforeseen sci-fi fuckery. And that's the shit that really shouldn't be trusted.
Heil, Elon.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's it.
All these niggas screaming bloody murder because they trashing DEI programs like they was benefiting y'all goofy ass anyway. If government efficiency is the job, he's as qualified as anyone. If you want to be mad at Elon, there are several reasons to be mad at Elon, but this necessarily isn't a good one. If you want to be mad at him for frying monkey brains and torturing monkeys. But y'all ain't mad about that though. Y'all mad he rolling with Trump. But this nigga want to put your thoughts on Wi-Fi. Y'all mad he has access to social security numbers. But this nigga out here talking about space. Everybody knows space ain't real. What happened to Artemis 2025? Ain't we supposed to be on the moon right now? And y'all let this dollar store sci-fi film perpetuate this nonsense. No wonder y'all support equal rights for transgender cats in Poland. You mad at the wrong shit.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's it.
But we all know the main reason that people hate Elon is because he was appointed as Trump's right-hand man to cut these DEI initiatives in the government. And most of these DEI initiatives are liberal initiatives, basically cutting a ton of liberal jobs out of the government. And of course, in response, the Democrats have created all of these doomsday scenarios. You're not going to get your check. Children are going to die. People are going to die. They create all of these doomsday scenarios as a consequence of appointing Musk to this government efficiency job. But in reality, all of these doomsday scenarios are nothing more than deflection and fear-mongering for all of the skepticism that they have about Elon Musk and his access to their personal data. They are literally crickets when it comes to government overspending and corruption. So no matter how valid their skepticism is when it comes to Musk, it essentially gets nullified by their support of ridiculous DEI initiatives and outright corruption. You see, if you don't trust Elon Musk, you must also support gender transition surgery for toddlers in Nepal. You see, there's no room for a nuanced opinion on right and left politics, and that's why most Americans are disillusioned.
They fired, they need to reinstate USAID.
Trump should not be bullying President Zelensky, who is an absolute hero. This country has just gone completely off the rails. This government, led by Trump and Musk, it's gone completely off the rails.
Listen, niggas, there are plenty of reasons to not trust this nigga Elon Musk. But for as concerning as his new position within the government is, the larger ethical questions surround the type of research he's involved in. Through his Neuralink technology, he's essentially looking to make an end-run around immortality, basically trying to play God. If there's a reason to not trust this nigga, this is as valid as any.
You could also save state. And save state? Save state, like save your brain state, like a saved game in a video game.
But there's no reason to be mad at him for doing the job he was hired to do, essentially slashing DEI programs. It's like black people have this false impression of DEI that it somehow levels the playing field, when it really tilts the playing field in favor of white women, who it has been proven benefit the most from DEI, while DEI discriminates the most against heterosexual men.
This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
DEI favors diversity over qualification. It promotes black mediocrity, and therefore fosters tokenism among chosen candidates. It in no way promotes black excellence, and further opens the door for quasi-gender-based fuckery and hiring practices. We don't need it, and it's actually counterproductive. If you're good enough, you'll get the job. If you don't get the job, don't fret. Nothing in this life that misses you was meant for you. All of the best opportunities come from the Most High. And with that being said, 2 pats to the chest, 2 fingers to the sky. Until next time, Shalom.